And a very good morning to you. Hope your weekend was good. You're watching GMTV Today. It's almost 7 o'clock.
And it's a Monday morning. And to get your Monday morning off to a musical treat, I wonder if you remember this.
Give a little bit. Give a little bit of your love
Classic.
to me.
You must know that. It's a
Got some
Supertramp
memories.
classic. And the man who wrote that song, and most of Supertramp's songs, actually.
Logical Song.
Yeah.
Dreamer.
Yeah.
He wrote them all.
I can't think of any more. Anyway, there
Take
are
the Long
loads.
Way Home.
They're all right. Anyway, he wrote most of their songs. He's singing one of them live this morning. In fact, give a little bit. His name is Roger Hudson. He is here in 20 minutes.
OK, look forward to that. But first, the story leading our news this morning. Hundreds of customers have been queuing since 4 o'clock at branches of Northern Rock. The bank
4 o'clock this morning.
4 o'clock this morning, so just 3 hours ago. They're opening in an hour, or an hour earlier than usual, to cope with this extra demand expected.
Yeah, about £2 billion has been withdrawn since it emerged on Thursday that the firm had applied to the Bank of England for emergency funds. Well, Richard Gaisford is at a branch this morning, which, as you can see there, is already busy, and the doors don't open for another hour, do they, Richard?
That's right. In fact, some of these people have been here since 3:15 this morning. It looks like the first day of the sales, doesn't it? These people, though, aren't here to bag themselves a bargain. They are here to get their cash out and get it as quickly as possible. On Saturday, this whole street was full of people desperate to get through the doors of the Northern Rock, and yet they were seeing just 14 people an hour, we're told. So even this 100 or so people here queuing this morning are going to take hours and hours to get through the doors to try and get their money out. And yet, despite all of this panic, the authorities are still saying, don't, just leave the money there. It's perfectly safe. This is what Angela Knight from the British Bankers Association told us just a few minutes ago.
Our banking system is strong and we are well regulated. That doesn't mean that issues won't arise. I'm sorry that people are concerned, and I'm not surprised they're concerned, but the Northern Rock has got the Bank of England standing behind it.
Well, people just aren't listening to that advice, and as you can see, every few minutes another few people join the back of the queue. And the way it's looking now, this bank is going to be open from 8 in the morning until 6 this evening. I think not too many more people on the end of the queue, and they won't be seen because they just can't process people quickly enough. There's a real rush on people trying to get their money out.
All right, Richard. Well, the Chancellor will be here in about 10 minutes' time. We'll see what he thinks about the sight of those queues already this
People
morning.
panicking a little bit. 2 billion taken out already. So more on that in a few minutes' time. But here's Penny with the news.
Thanks very much. Good morning. One person has died and several others have been injured in a fire at a hotel in Blackpool, which broke out at about 3:30 this morning. Earlier, we spoke to Inspector Graham Smith from Lancashire Police.
The fire brigade and fire officers are still at the scene and working on the fire, and we've evacuated everybody else to a local leisure centre with the assistance of the local borough council.
10 British holidaymakers could be amongst the 91 who've died in a plane crash during a monsoon in Thailand. A number of survivors managed to crawl out of the burning wreckage, as Marcella Whittingdale reports.
The smouldering wreckage of Flight 269. This amateur footage shows how the plane burst into flames after it crash-landed in heavy rain. Amazingly, some of the 123 passengers survived, scrambling out of the aircraft through thick smoke.
It tumbled, next thing I know, just everything's on fire, and I loosened my strap. Couldn't find my friend, but got out through the exit onto the wing.
The flight, operated by budget airline 12Go, had flown to Phuket from the Thai capital Bangkok. Many on board were foreign tourists.
We know for sure that we have 5 British survivors, 3 of whom are suffering superficial injuries, and 2 of whom are in ICU, and one of those 2 is very, very severely burned.
A crash investigation will now try to determine whether the bad weather was the only cause of this terrible tragedy.
If you're worried about friends or relatives, the Foreign Office Emergency Response Team has opened a helpline. The number is 0207 008 0000. A Portuguese judge is expected to decide today whether there's enough evidence to press charges against Jerry and Kate McCann. A top forensic scientist has dismissed reports that sedatives could have been detected in a blood sample or in strands of hair. Jonathan Swain is in Portimão in Portugal with more. Jonathan.
Good morning, Penny. Well, the only person who really knows what's going on in this case is the man who sits in that building behind me. He's the judge who's overseeing it all. He's expected to make some kind of decision by Thursday, but this week, in the meantime, expect lots more speculation. The Portuguese newspapers this morning are reporting that the police are now looking into the medical history of Kate McCann. Well, with me is Mark Williams-Thomas, a former child protection officer who's been following this case from the start. Mark, very confusing here this morning, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think the incredible aspect, we have a criminal justice system here where they say secrecy is the most important thing, they can't talk about the case, yet we're receiving more information coming out from direct leaks within the Portuguese police to the Portuguese media than I've seen in any other case. Total speculation.
And just briefly, the police have admitted that they're not looking for anybody else as suspects in this case.
Yeah, there's two cases in this scenario. It's either Jerry and Kate or family and friends because they had the access and the opportunity, or it's a predatory paedophile where Madeline's walked out of the apartment. They've closed down that line of inquiry. They're solely focusing on Jerry and Kate, ignoring everything else. Very, very dangerous.
OK, Mark, thanks very much indeed. Meanwhile, Kate and Jerry back in Leicestershire want the attention of this case to be focused firmly back on their missing daughter.
Jonathan, thanks very much. The Liberal Democrats start their conference in Brighton today. Their leader, Sir Ming Campbell, is already under fire for poor poll ratings, and there's been public sniping from within his own party. Polls show that a significant minority of activists believe that he's taking the party in the wrong direction. A bare arms dress code is amongst measures being unveiled this week to try to stop the spread of superbugs in hospitals. The initiative also calls for more communication between management and nurses and a legal requirement for hospital trusts to report all MRSA and C. difficile infections. On the website this morning, how a growing number of employers believe workers are taking time off sick because of drink-related problems. Find out about all our dangerous motoring habits. And a new report reveals that only 4 in 10 Britons would be motivated to do more exercise if their life depended on it. All that and more on GM.TV. And finally this morning, Helen Mirren has added yet another award to her collection at the Emmys, winning the Gong for Best Actress in Prime Suspect. She wasn't the only Briton to do well. Ricky Gervais couldn't make it to receive his award for Best Comedy Series for Extras, but funny man Steve Carroll did the honours for. 6 minutes past 7. Here's what's happening where you are.
Thank you, good morning. Here are the main news stories now from the northwest. And first, a man has died after a blaze ripped through a hotel on the seafront at Blackpool. At its height, more than 60 firefighters were trying to tackle the flames at the Manor Hotel. 61 people were evacuated from nearby hotels and flats. A number of people from the Manor have been treated for smoke inhalation. An area around the hotel has been sealed off, and police say they're currently treating the fire as suspicious. A mother from Greater Manchester whose teenage son died suddenly while playing football is taking her campaign for health checks for sporting youngsters to the FA. Daniel Young from Atherton was 16 when he collapsed. His mother Dion says a simple heart scan would detect a problem before it's too late. Lee MP Andy Burnham's backing the campaign and will join Dion for a meeting with the Professional Footballers Association tomorrow.
I'm really hoping now that the FA take a lead in actual fact and say to these clubs that they do need to have defibrillators, they do need to have the boys screened. I mean, these defects only kick in when the hormones kick in at 14.
The parents of murdered schoolboy Rhys Jones will return to his old primary school today. The 11-year-old was shot dead in Croxteth Park last month. Melanie and Stephen Jones have been touched by the support of pupils and teachers at Broad Square Primary. On the first day of term, they paid tribute to Rhys by holding a minute-long round of applause. Rhys's parents will today open a new adventure playground in their son's memory. Well, on to sport now, and tickets go on sale today for what will be the biggest fight of Manchester boxer Ricky Hatton's career so far. The Hitman and Floyd Mayweather go head-to-head on December the 8th in Vegas for the Welterweight Championship. The pair are embarking on a tour of the USA and the UK, visiting 5 cities in 5 days to promote the fight. They'll finish in Manchester on Friday. The round-the-world Clipper yacht race has finally got underway from Liverpool. 10 boats set sail on the 35,000-mile adventure yesterday afternoon. They'll stop at 14 different ports in 5 continents, the first being La Rochelle in France. The boats will return for the Capital of Culture celebrations next July. That's it, but for now I'm back at 8:05. In a moment it's back to GMTV, but first a look at the region's weather.
Be ready for all changing light conditions. Here's the weather forecast, brought to you by Transitions Lenses.
There'll be large amounts of cloud around this morning with some light showers. This afternoon, the rain will continue with some sunny spells developing in places. Top temperatures today of 14 degrees Celsius. And we'll have more weather for you in an hour's time.
Hello, Monday morning, 9 minutes past 7, and for 3 hours now, customers have been queuing outside branches of Northern Rock. They opened their doors early this morning at about 8 o'clock, but as I say, customers are already queuing. Alistair Darling, the Chancellor, is here. We'll be talking to him in a moment. First of all, though, Richard Gaisford, there he is in Kingston upon Thames with a substantial queue behind you, Richard.
It's a big queue, more than 100 people now, Fiona. A lot of people here have lost confidence in this bank, the Northern Rock, but also the banking system as well. So you were here on Saturday. What happened to you on Saturday?
I arrived here on Saturday about 8 o'clock and I stood here until 2 o'clock and then I went home because they closed the doors at 2 o'clock.
Very desperate to get your money out?
Not actually desperate, no, but I'd like to get my money out, you know, in the next day or two and hopefully this morning.
Better safe than sorry as well, a lot of people hope. So why are you here so early today?
I'm here this morning because I'm very nervous. I would like to take my money out sooner rather than later. I know the Chancellor and the Bank of England have said that our money's safe, but with respect, it's not their money. It's my money, and I don't know what's going to happen in a week or next month, and that's the reason why I'm here this early.
A lot of people saying that when the government says don't panic, that's exactly the time to panic. I mean, you're here to get a sizable chunk out of the bank, aren't you?
Yes,
You're quite worried.
Very worried. I have the proceeds of a house which was something sort of short of $1 million, and also my mother's money is in here that's supporting her being in an old people's home. And the trouble is that it's what we don't know that is worrying, just as the way we were told, everyone was told at the time, that the Titanic was unsinkable. What are we not being told?
Yeah, well, Pam, thank you very much. A lot of people echoing the same sentiments. They just don't trust the bank. They want to get their money out as quickly as possible, Fiona.
All right, Richard, she'll be there a long time withdrawing that $1 million she was talking about, I should imagine. People do want to find out what's going on, and as the lady said there, we're being told things, but what really is the truth behind it? Well, let's find out, because the Chancellor, Alistair Darling, is here. That sight of queues at Northern Rock there must have lurched your stomach a bit this morning.
I can understand that, you know, people have been looking at pictures like that for 2 or 3 days now, and they're understandably concerned. But, you know, I say yet again that anybody who wants to get their money out of the Northern Rock Bank, they can do that. There will be queues, there might be trouble on the internet simply because the bank is dealing with far more customers that it usually deals with on a day-to-day basis. But the money is there, and Britain's independent regulator of banks has said that there's no reason why the bank can't continue to take money in and continue to pay it out. So people do have that comfort. In addition to that, the reason that I authorised the Bank of England to make facilities available was because I wanted to ensure that if Northern Rock had these difficulties, then it could get money from the Bank of England. So people in those queues, people with money in the Northern Rock, if they want to get their money out, they can do it. There's no reason why they can't.
But clearly, people aren't believing what you're saying, are they? Otherwise, they wouldn't be queuing up since 4 o'clock this morning and panicking. As the lady said there, we were told the Titanic wouldn't sink. Paul Jackson from Lincolnshire has phoned in this morning. He says Gordon Brown and the Labour government said that pensions were safe too and not to worry. They weren't. They've also said the same about Northern Rock. He doesn't trust you.
Well, look, as far as Northern Rock is concerned, you know, it was clear that the bank had difficulties which stem from problems that arose in the American housing market.
How long did you know about those difficulties?
Obviously, there's been a general concern, you know, since the middle of August, when it was clear there was problems in America. The Northern Rock's problems only really became acute in the middle of last week, when we knew we'd have to make facilities.
That's when you first heard about it.
The financial authorities in this country monitor all institutions all the time, year in, year out, as you might imagine. When it was clear things started to go wrong in America and credit in Britain became more difficult for banks, because what Northern Rock does is it lends money out, it then borrows money from other banks to pay for that. And it was obvious we were going to have some, they were getting into a temporary difficulty. So they came to the Bank of England. That system has been there for years, where if a bank gets into difficulties, if it got short-term difficulties, the Bank of England can make money available. That's why I decided to make the money available, so that Northern Rock would have money to pay out the people who've saved
the whole
with it.
premise of their business lays on rocky soil, really. I mean, having to borrow, to lend all the time. And as you say, you've known about these difficulties in America since the beginning of August. People are going to find it very hard to believe that you couldn't have done something sooner.
Well, if you take the problem here, in the old days, I suppose, building societies used to take money in one door and then used to lend it out the other door. Now, over the years, that's changed. The reason that so many people have been able to get mortgages is because building societies also borrow money from banks, and that's quite common. And as long as you can repay the loans, there's no problem with that. And as long as you can get money, there's no problem. And at the moment, banks actually have lots of money. They're just being a bit more cautious about lending it to each other. That's what's caused the temporary problems for this bank.
Yeah, but they haven't been cautious about lending it to us. They're giving people who can't afford to get on the property ladder 5 times their mortgage, sometimes 120% mortgages. And don't you think that by the Bank of England getting them out of this trouble, i.e. using our public money, don't you think that you're therefore endorsing this sort of imprudent behaviour?
Well, look, firstly, what the Bank of England is doing is it will lend money to the Northern Rock Bank, so the money comes back. So it's not public money lost, if you like. I think the second thing is, I do agree with you that before anyone takes on a loan, they should be sure that they can repay it. And before a bank or building society lends you money, they should also be sure that you can actually repay it if you get into difficulties. That's what went wrong in America. That simply didn't happen. My concern is to make sure that the banking system is stable, that people can have confidence in it. That's why I said to the Bank of England that they could make money available to the Northern Rock Bank, precisely to ensure that if people want to get their money out of that bank, they can do it. But it's also there to ensure that all banks can continue to function properly, and that's how the system operates. And if you take the things that can encourage us, is we've got a very strong economy. We've had problems in the past before when the American stock market collapsed, when the Asian stock markets collapsed. Unlike other economies, ours continued to grow, and it will continue to grow because we do have a strong economy. There will be problems from time to time, like with Northern Rock. That's why I stepped in to ensure that there is money available for that bank.
All right, but you must understand that people are panicked by the fact that in some of the papers this morning, again, they're saying that if share prices drop down even lower today, Northern Rock will break up. So what happens to people's money then?
Well, whatever happens, people can get their money out of the bank. You know, they don't need to worry about that. But the whole reason that we provide support if a bank gets into difficulties, like Northern Rock, is to help it get the money to tide it over these difficulties. Now, the key thing is to protect the interests of people who've got their money there. We're doing that, and as I say, if people want to get their money out, then they can get their money out. You know, I really feel sorry for people who are in queues or having difficulties on the internet. I think the bank is simply, you know, it's not used to dealing with this number of people. But it is important that they remember if they want to get their money out, they can get their money out, and that is absolutely fundamental.
That's your reputation on the line.
It is, I'm afraid, yes.
And I guess no sort of early election then next month.
Well, to be realistic, for the last few weeks, most of us have been focusing on the job in hand. I think, you know, people know there's a new government, they've got a new Prime Minister, but they want the government to get on with the job we were elected to do. I don't get any sense that people, you know, inside government or outside government anxious for a dash to the polls.
But it's not good for people, is it? Talking about your reputation in government, seeing queues. It's like that poster, the famous poster, Labour isn't working, with the queues, and it's just very reminiscent.
Yes, which was followed when the Tories ran up unemployment to nearly 4 million. And you know, when David Cameron was the economic advisor to Norman Lamont, the debt was approaching nearly £100 billion in today's money. So yes, I'm very aware of what the Tories did after that. But as far as we're concerned, the thing that is important is we've got a strong economy. You know, we've got, we're getting inflation back.
And people can get their money out.
That's right.
And that's the most important
and as far as the banks are concerned, as far as Northern Rock Bank is concerned, if people want to get their money out, they can get it out. That's the important thing.
All right, Alistair. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Thank you.
Monday morning, it's 18 minutes past 7. These are the other headlines that you're waking up to. At least 10 British holidaymakers are feared dead after an airliner crash landed during a monsoon in Thailand. And a forensic scientist interviewed about the disappearance of Madeleine McCann has dismissed reports that sedatives could have been detected in DNA samples.
And the weather, all parts will have a cool and showery day today with most of the rain in the east apparently. It's colder than it was last week. The highest temperature is 15 Celsius, but there's a lot of wind, so it could feel even cooler.
Our next guest was not only a member of really a supergroup, Supertramp, he also wrote many of the band's biggest hits. Rock legend Roger Hodgson, he's about to set off in his first UK tour in over 20 years. And a very good morning to you.
Good morning,
Are you
Andrew?
a morning person, Roger?
This is very different for me.
You got a tour coming out. How many dates are you doing?
Yeah,
in the
I'm
UK?
doing 6, starting in Cardiff on the 1st and doing the Albert Hall on the 9th. And
Yeah. Have you been sort of touring? Have you been performing in other places?
the last few years I've been doing quite a lot of touring, but actually this is, as you say, my first UK tour, and I'm very excited about it.
Well, welcome home. Born in Portsmouth.
Born in Portsmouth.
Living in
California right now.
Yeah, you've been there for quite a long time, but there's been a bit of a change in life. You've sort of come back over here now a little bit, or thinking
I'm spending
about that?
more and more time over here in Europe and you know, in the UK. I'm very
You've
happy
always been
about
a go with the flow sort of bloke, haven't you? Really, don't you think?
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Did you have an alternative sort of lifestyle through sort of 70s and 80s? Was it real sort of rock group stuff?
It was pretty tame, really. Supertramp were a pretty tame band. You know, we were there into the music most of all, but it was great. I mean, it was a great adventure for me, and you know, I left the band to raise my kids. I'm very, very glad I did.
Because you just think that wasn't the right environment to raise kids in, or you?
I couldn't have done both well, and I realised that hey, you know, I've got to really take. I've got these 2 little babies, and I've got to take it seriously.
And
so
how old are your little babies now?
their little babies are 26 and 28. So they're off and running, and I can, you know.
And when did you write Give a Little Bit, which we're going to hear in a couple of minutes?
Give a Little Bit, I think I was 19 or 20 when I wrote that, and it's amazing how it stood the test of time. Actually, all my songs, I'm having actually more fun singing them today than I did even back then.
Well,
that amazes me.
it's great poetry and great music as well, and thanks ever so much for coming in this morning. We're looking forward to
I
this.
said, oh, I'm going to hang around for a bit of that.
I know.
Supertramp fan.
Pressure's on. Dreamer, Logical Song, all of them absolutely fantastic. I know the proceeds of this, they're going to raise funds for what, tsunami relief and Hurricane Katrina.
Well,
as well.
yeah, the song's taken on a life of its own. It's being requested for a lot of different reasons and different causes now, which is great.
It was very good work as a teenager, wasn't it? This was very
yeah.
good work, and now making a difference. Roger, look forward to hearing you perform right after this.
Great,
Thanks
thank
so
you.
much.
Yeah, we're off for a break now. Later on, though, the difference the Children's Hospice makes for one family coping with their ill daughter.
Talking to the Smallman family about that. And we make their mum-to-be, who was on her way to boot camp before Simon had a change of heart. What was he thinking? Katie Booth, in an hour's time. There she is.
You don't have to be on Britain's rich list to buy your dream property abroad. In Spain, Italy, France and Portugal, you can snap something up for less than you think. Firstly, do your homework and get professional advice about financing your purchase.
And the good news is that Barclays could lend you up to 80% of the property price.
Consider taking out a euro mortgage instead of a sterling one.
This could save you money as interest rates in Europe have historically been lower than the UK.
Dreaming of a home in the sun? It can be easy with Barclays.
Where can you find greetings cards to amaze your friends and family?
Moonpig.
Great cards, funny cards, for every imaginable occasion.
Moonpig.
With each and every card personalised to create something that's unique.
Moonpig.
So where can you find a card that'll really make their day?
Moonpig.
Visit moonpig.com and try the easy way, the fun way to send a special card today.
Moonpig.com.
Hands up, who wants to try delicious Bassett's Soft and Chewy Omega-3 with vitamins? The delicious way to take Omega-3.
Oh, carrots! At Costcutter, we've been there for your everyday essentials for the past 21 years.
Dog food? Oh, thank you.
Shampoo! So why not check out our great 21st anniversary offers? Like these Walker's Crisps at only £1.99, or any 3 Cadbury Dairy Milk Bars for just £1. And look, 80 Tetley tea bags with 50% extra free. Cost Cutter, 21 years of great value offers.
Black Excess. Black Excess for Her, the new fragrance by Paco Rabanne.
Have you tried Mission Deli wraps yet? They make everyday food more exciting. Just choose your favourite fillings and you can make a tasty, satisfying wrap in seconds. Look for Mission in the bakery aisle. It's the one in a resealable pack.
Special K mini breaks. They're sweet biscuity bites baked from corn, wheat and rice. And at 100 calories per bag, you can enjoy snacking. New Special K mini breaks. A new way to snack.
This week on This Morning, doing up your dwellings, don't miss designer duo Colin and Justin. From Corrie's Grieving Widow to West End musical, it's Susie Blake. Flash Bang Wallop, Tommy Steele on becoming Dr. Dolittle. And will It Girl Tara Palmer-Tompkinson take the trophy in our style challenge? Find out on This Morning.
Well, recognised as one of the most gifted composers and songwriters of our time, you will be singing this song all day, probably, I think.
Yes, you will. After you hear Roger Hodgson singing Give a Little Bit. There he is.
Hey, yeah. All right. Here we go again. I'll give a little bit. I'll give a little bit of your love to me. I'll give a little bit. I'll give a little bit of my love to you. There's so much that we need to share. So send a smile and show that you care. I gave a little bit. I gave a little bit of my life for you. So give a little bit. Or give a little bit of your time to me. See the man with the lonely eyes. Oh, take his hand. You'll be so surprised, yeah. Come along. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Give a little bit, or give a little bit of your love to me. I'll give a little bit, I'll give a little bit of my love to you. Now's the time that we need to share, so find yourself. We're on our way back home. going back home. Don't you need to get back home, yeah. Ooh, yeah, we're going back home, yeah. All right.
Roger, that's great. Thank you very much indeed. Best of luck with the tour and the DVD out, new DVD out today. And if you're left wanting more of that, which you surely are, GM.TV.
Yeah, it kicks off the tour 1st of October in Cardiff.
OK, right, weather's closing in a little bit of a nip in the air. Here's Andrea.
Here I am, absolutely. It's feeling a little bit autumnal. Let's take a look. Oh, it's all going very well.
Here you are, Mummy.
Oh, thank you, darling. GMTV Weather, sponsored by Nestle Cereals. Whole grain for the whole family every morning.
Hello there, good morning. Now, as you can see, we've got a few areas of weather, if you like, happening for this morning. We do have the first one here. It's this frontal system here. It's a cold front. It moved its way southwards across the country yesterday. You may have noticed it getting colder as we went through the night. What we're going to be seeing here is the remnants of this system across the south and the southeast through this morning. Eventually, it will clear away. Bits and pieces of cloud across the rest of the country. And there you can see this next area of rain across northern Scotland and eastern Scotland as well. So that sets up then the story. A cooler and fresher start to today. You will notice it as you head out the door this morning. Temperatures definitely feeling a little bit chillier than they were this weekend. It's a beautiful weekend for many. Hope you made the most of it. There's that rain that I showed you a second ago across parts of Scotland. There's the rain across the south. Most places starting off fine, dry and bright. 1 or 2 showers around. And that's the story for Scotland. I think the worst of the rain across eastern Scotland will ease away. Temperature-wise, it's always going to be a chilly day today, struggling only get up to around 10 or 11. The heavy rain, I think, remaining just clipping into northeastern areas of England through today. Across to western parts of England, I think there will be 1 or 2 showers around, but generally speaking, not a bad day for you. Again, 1 or 2 heavy bursts, as you can see, just across maybe northern parts of East Anglia, just into northern parts of the Midlands. Showers still hanging on to the far southern and eastern corner, but for the southwest, it's a fine, dry and bright day. 1 or 2 showers continuing to peck away across maybe western parts of Wales, and also 1 or 2 across Northern Ireland. But generally speaking, it's the temperatures you saw there as we did our tour around the country, much cooler and fresher than yesterday. It's going to be a cold night tonight. It may well be the first night of central heating as temperatures drop down to levels cold enough to produce some frost in rural areas. What that means is a cold and crisp start to the day for tomorrow. Most places staying fine and dry. We will see things clouding over later across more western areas, and eventually we'll see some at times fairly heavy rain pushing in across the hills of western Scotland. And then for the rest of the week, really the best way to sum it up is unsettled. We've got a system slicing the country in half through tomorrow. Ahead of it, not doing too badly, but a showery picture behind. Then, as you can see on Thursday, more rain and cool temperatures to come. Here's your summary. Get a 5-day weather update for your postcode on our website, gm.tv.
All right, in the next half hour, we're meeting a lovely family, the Smallman family, who say the children's hospice that their daughter goes to is a godsend for them. We're meeting them, and that's little Holly there, meeting her too later on.
And we'll be talking to the man at the centre of the Northern Rock crisis, the bank's chief executive. He's been there for 24 years. He started as a cashier. Tough old weekend for him and the customers. Adam Applegarth is his name.
All right, 28 minutes to 8 is the time. Here's the news now with Penny.
Thanks very much. Good morning. Branches of Northern Rock are opening an hour earlier than usual today to cope with demand. About £2 billion has been withdrawn since it emerged on Thursday that Northern Rock had applied to the Bank of England for emergency funds. And this is the scene at one Northern Rock branch in Surrey, where 130 people are now queuing to get into their bank, which opens in just under half an hour's time. One person has died and a number have been injured in a fire at a hotel in Blackpool which broke out at about 3:30 this morning. Earlier we spoke to Inspector Graham Smith from Lancashire Police.
The fire brigade and fire officers are still at the scene and working on the fire, and we've evacuated everybody else to a local leisure centre with the assistance of the local borough council.
As many as 10 British holidaymakers are feared dead after a plane crash in Thailand. 91 people died when the plane went down in terrible weather conditions on its way from Bangkok to Phuket. Eyewitnesses say that the pilot made 2 attempts to land before crashing off the runway. The plane broke in 2 and then burst into flames. It's thought 40 of the 123 passengers survived. This week, a Portuguese judge is expected to decide whether there's enough evidence to press charges against Jerry and Kate McCann. Doubts have been cast over crucial evidence from sniffer dogs, and a top forensic scientist interviewed about Madeleine's disappearance has dismissed reports that sedatives could have been detected in a blood sample or in strands of hair. The Liberal Democrats start their conference in Brighton today. Their leader, Sir Menzies Campbell, is already under fire for poor poll ratings, and there's been public sniping from within his own party. Polls show that a significant minority of activists believe that he's taking the party in the wrong direction. 7:34. I'm back at the top of the hour. Here are Fiona and Andrew.
Thank you so much. You've got Victoria Beckham green on this morning. Did you see her?
Have you? She was wearing green. Did you see her? She looked a bit like, I mean, there was a one comment.
Turtle.
So they looked like, yes, Ninja Turtle was
you
the
don't,
comment.
by the way.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good. It's 26 minutes to 8 now. Did you see the X Factor on Saturday night? Was Simon Cowell right to vote Katie Booth out of boot camp because she was pregnant? We'll be talking about that very soon after this.
Don't let spots get in your way. T-Zone, with natural antibacterial ingredients, helps fight the causes of spots. Spots can't handle the T-Zone.
The Sun are giving away 7 carry-on DVDs free every day this week.
It's not often you get it 7 times a week.
Free carry-on collection offer starting Monday. The Sun, we love it.
It's bad enough having your home smell like fish. But is covering it up with lots of flowers really making it better? New Febreze Mist and Refresh doesn't just mix with odours in the air, it gets rid of them, leaving the air light and fresh. New Febreze Mist and Refresh. Discover true freshness.
"1001 Troubleshooter Ultra is now better than ever. 1001, the magic number for carpets.
Babies love to bounce, but did you know that zebras do too? The Bounce and Spin Zebra from Fisher-Price. It's got great moves, cool twists and turns. Put a little bounce in your baby's day. New from Fisher-Price.
Play, laugh, roll.
The 15th anniversary of Disneyland Resort Paris is in full flow. Book your trip right now, as kids under 7 stay and play free. Call 08705 030301.
I wish I'd got some biscuits.
Cheers. At Costcutter, we've been there for your everyday essentials for the past 21 years.
Oh, TV mag.
Thanks. More. Have we got any crisps? So why not check out our great 21st anniversary offers? Like Cathedral City Cheddar is now half price, or Danone Activia for only 99p. And look, Hellmann's Squeezy Mayonnaise is also just 99p. Costcutter, 21 years of great value offers.
Trouble with bathroom plug holes? Maybe you just don't love them enough. Bring on Buster. Buster Bathroom Drain Clear dissolves hair and soap, getting bath and shower plug holes back on the move. Give your plug holes some love with Buster Bathroom Drain Clear, because plug holes need love too.
Vitamin D is essential to help you absorb calcium and make your bones stronger.
Nothing can come between Cocoa Pops and milk.
Cocoa Pops and milk make a bowl full of fun.
All is not what it seems at number 8 Coronation Street. GMTV asks the questions and long-suffering mum Gail and psycho son David give us the answers. Will David confess all to GMTV? Find out Wednesday.
Talking about places that provide salvation for thousands of families across the United Kingdom now, but they say they're in dire need of more funding from the government. They do struggle in that department, no doubt about it. Talking about the vital work of the children's hospices, places like Clare House on the Wirral. It's a wonderful place. It provides respite care for the Smallman family who need help with their daughter Holly. Very good morning. Here's their story.
Holly was born fine, then at 8 weeks old she had a respiratory arrest which has left her with severe brain damage, cerebral palsy, epilepsy, chronic lung disease.
Hello. Hello. How have you been?
We try to come to Clare House once a month. It gives us an opportunity to spend time primarily just with Joshua. We stay upstairs in the family quarters and a dedicated nurse looks after Holly for us. She's on roughly about 17 medications a day and they need to be administered every 3 to 4 hours. We can also go down and spend time with Holly whenever we want. It's a real family atmosphere. It's like a home from home. Joshua does never want to leave. He loves being in the pool with Holly. They can interact together and have fun. She's registered blind, Holly, but she can see very bright lights to very dark lights, so the contrast has to be quite strong and she responds. The qualities that all the staff have got are fabulous. They love Holly and it shines through. The care just shines out of everyone. It's just a lovely atmosphere.
Hayley and Gary Smallman are here this morning. That's Josh in between them there. Claire Sweeney's a big supporter of the charity as well. And they're having a bit of a chat with us this morning. Is the star of the show, that is Holly, who enjoyed watching that VT, I believe. And a very good morning to one and all. It's an amazing place, isn't it? What does it do for you?
Oh, it provides us with so much support, vital support that we couldn't really cope without. We get a good night's sleep, which is obviously, you know, something that people may take for granted. They provide so much support for Josh as well. It's the family as a whole, it's not just Holly. They're just so good to us, they really are.
Josh, you're a part of something called the Sibling Support Network, aren't you?
Yeah.
What sort of things do you do?
Well, I often go there because I've got a friend there called Kieran, and we often play on the Xbox, play all games on the Xbox. We go outside, there's a swing there.
Oh, so you can play around. Actually, you don't really want to leave at the end of the day, do you? No, why not? Why not stay there? And is everyone really nice to you, all the staff and everybody else?
Yeah.
And what do they do for your sister? Do they really look after her well?
Yeah.
They do. And it's a very, very intensive thing, isn't it, Gary? They need, you know...
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It is full on. I mean, I give people a sense of the intensity of the environment of care there.
Yeah, they're all on the ball. They know what to do and they're there and you can trust them implicitly. So...
How was it getting ready this morning, for instance, for you?
Oh, hectic, yeah. we don't do 5 o'clocks, really, but...
What time is normal get-up time for her?
7. Holly's got to be fed at 7 o'clock routinely and have medicines.
And it's got to be done in the right order at the right time, otherwise there's trouble.
She's kept to a strict regime each day. She has to be fed every so many hours. She's fed by a pump which has to be made up every couple of hours. She has medication administered every couple of hours. So when we go to Clare House, they take over all of that for us, and we get to just be mum and dad and have fun, really, you know.
Which is absolutely vital for Josh and for you two and the relationship, and for Holly as well, I understand. And Claire, you're a regular visitor, aren't you?
Yeah, I've been supporting Clare House since I was about 14, and I've seen it grow and grow over the years. And I think with lack of government funding, the good thing about this week, Children's Hospice Week, is just to raise awareness, really. But what the great thing about Clare House, as they were saying, it provides support just for the rest of the family as well, and especially as you're expecting now, aren't you?
Yes.
So
yeah.
And you're carrying very, very neatly, I might
Thank you.
say.
Thank
very
you.
neatly.
Yes,
How are you feeling?
Well, obviously very apprehensive because we don't obviously know what's going to happen. But whatever happens will happen, and But they offer a vital service to us called hospice to home. So just after I've given birth, the nurses will actually come to our house and help look after Holly for me for a couple of hours, just to give me a little bit of time to spend with the new baby.
These are not unhappy places, hospices. It should be
No.
stressed. They provide a wonderful service for everybody, and there's a feeling of joy there. The first couple of times you go, you tend to be a bit sad and very, very tearful, but after that, it's a very positive experience, isn't it?
It's really uplifting as well, and it's great to see the people who work there voluntarily as well. There's a lot of people who put a lot of time in.
Yeah.
And it is a lovely place to visit, isn't it? And see the kids.
Some of them have got wings, I tell you. They're amazing.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic. Thanks ever so much for coming in this morning, everybody, and telling us about it. And Holly, thank you very much indeed for coming in as well. It's been nice having a chat with you as well. All the best, Josh. See you later on. Find out how you can help. Visit our website, gm.tv. We've got some details on the hospices, the work they do, how you can help with the funding, etc.
All right, if you still have savings with Northern Rock, or if your mortgage is with them, like mine is, you might like to listen to this. They're facing a further run on assets today. Dozens of people have been queuing since the small hours as they attempt to withdraw their savings. That's the scene at the bank's branch in Kingston upon Thames. They've been queuing there since just after 3 o'clock this morning. So, gosh, nearly 5 hours now. And the bank opens in about a quarter of an hour. They're opening earlier this morning, clearly, because of the volume of customers they've got there. Well, the man at the centre of it all is the Chief Executive of Northern Rock. There he is, Adam Applegarth, joining us from the heart of the company in Newcastle this morning. Adam, clearly not a good time for you, and judging by the queues this morning, no confidence left in you anymore from your customers either.
Well, first of all, I have to say thank you to the customers for their patience. They're not getting their normal level of customer service offers. I also have to say thank you for my staff who are busting a gut to look after them. As you said before, the branches are opening early. They'll be open late tonight. I know some of our branches stayed open till 10:30 on Friday night because the branch staff were determined to make sure our customers were looked after. So I have to say I'm sorry to our customers for the slow customer service, but thank you very much for their patience.
All right, Adam, we had the Chancellor in earlier on this morning, and he kept reiterating each customer will get their money. There's no chance that this money's going to go AWOL. So can you please confirm that?
Yeah, the Chancellor's got it spot on. The Bank of England granting us a facility means there's no question of not being able to get to the money. For us, it's the hard logistical exercise of getting it to the customers. And I'm sorry to repeat myself, but I am immensely grateful to our customers for their patience, and we will get to them.
All right, Adam, the Chancellor did also say last week, he did give a warning about the danger of excessive lending and inappropriate financing, which you have been guilty of, giving people mortgages of up to 5 times their annual salary, giving 120% mortgages in some cases. Haven't you brought that upon yourself, and couldn't you see it coming, actually?
Well, let's have some accuracy. We don't give loans of 125% mortgages. Our mortgages are only allowed up to 95%, the same as other lenders. The reason the Bank of England gave the facility is they only give it to solvent, well-capitalised, well-run businesses. Our loan book is actually one of the best in the country. Our arrears are under half the industry average. It's a really good quality loan book.
Well, clearly not. I mean, for goodness sake, you can't say that this morning. The queues of customers there who've already withdrawn £2 billion worth of money, and which leaves the rest of us with mortgages with you. Very, very worried indeed as to how you're going to be able to honour those for the long term.
There's no question for them to worry whatsoever. The reason the Bank of England gave the facility was to ensure that it would be business as normal. All our customers can do exactly the same transactions they normally like to do. Borrowers borrow money, make repayments, depositors can deposit money and take money out. The issue for us at the moment is with depositors wanting to take money out, it's logistical. It's getting the money to them. So I have to say thank you for their patience, and also thank you to my staff who are busting a gut to try and look after our customers.
All right, your reputation's completely damaged there, and there's a lot of talk this morning as to how long you're actually going to last now. So what about the people who actually work for you there, the people who might lose their jobs, up to 6,500 we've heard?
Yes, we have 6,500 employees. the Bank of England give the facility to a viable company with a standalone future.
Adam,
I can't determine
you've
what the
told
future's
us that
going to be.
about 5 times now. Are those jobs safe? 6,500 jobs, which will affect the city of Newcastle a hell of a lot.
Well, of course they would. The reason the Bank of England gave the facility was to a viable business, a standalone business.
Well,
so yes, the jobs are safe.
Clearly, okay. Clearly you're not going to say anything else, apart from the Bank of England gives money to viable companies. Sadly, all those people queuing up aren't quite convinced of that, Adam. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.
After 8 o'clock, going to meet the parents who saved their son's life by questioning the diagnosis of not one, but 2 doctors. So we'll be talking to them.
Next, Richard's here. He's safe because the Bank of England have said he's viable. He'll be talking about Coronation Street, amongst other things. All that after this.
Phil Collins hits. Featuring In the Air Tonight, You Can't Hurry Love, Another Day in Paradise, Against All Odds, Easy Lover and more. 16 of his greatest songs on one CD. Phil Collins hits, out now.
Oi, Sid, have a look at this.
Very peachy.
Not her, the Sun. They're giving away 7 hilarious carry-on films free every day this week.
Well, we'll have to find you a crumpet to go with that, won't we?
Saucy.
It's not often you get it 7 times a week.
Get your free carry-on DVD collection. Offer starts Monday. The Sun, we love it.
Help your children get all the benefits of omega-3 fish oil in a delicious fruity taste. Fantastic. Halib Orange omega-3 fish oil.
It's amazing how many stains kids get. It's impossible to keep their whites white. They're often only fit for the bin.
All you need is 1 scoop of new Vanish Oxy Action Crystal White in every wash. There's no need to throw that out now. Let me show you what it's doing in your machine. It can remove all these tough stains and makes your whites crystal white.
For shirts, socks, bedding and towels.
Ooh.
New Vanish Oxy Action Crystal White. Laundry Product of the Year 2007.
When is a good deal not a good deal on car insurance?
When I'm not rewarded for my careful driving, just because I've been on Mum's policy.
At Direct Line, all named drivers can build up a no-claims discount to use when they need a policy of their own. And as well as great prices, when you insure more than 1 car at your address, we'll give you an extra 10% discount.
That's better.
Visit directline.com or call 0845 246 4040. Direct Line, a good deal better.
And now Mini Baby Bell also comes in cheddar. And brand new Emmentaler variety. So now there's even more cheese worth chasing.
Vitamin D is essential to help you absorb calcium and make your bones stronger.
Next time you're in the frozen bit, look out for the Bird's Eye Be Mortgage Free promotion. If you win, you'll be mortgage free. Be mortgage free with Bird's Eye.
Barry Manilow. The greatest songs of the 70s. The incredible new album. Featuring timeless 70s songs and stunning new recordings of his best-loved hits. Experience the Manilow magic with the greatest songs of the 70s.
Deborah Harry performs her latest single live tomorrow on GMTV.
Lotus Thirst Pockets with Schlurp technology. Sponsors
a GMTV pick of the day.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, good morning. Dark days on the cobbles, of course. This is the week that we've read an awful lot about in the Super Soar Away Sun. Of course, this is the time when David's life and the life of all the Platts down Weatherfield Way unravels completely. Our Bethany finds David's stash, swallows it, and sadly her life is in jeopardy. A tense moment at the hospital.
Oh! What the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm sorry. David! I'm going to kill you! God, I'm going to kill you!
David, when did she take it? When did this happen?
I don't know. I tried to make her be sick. I give her some salt water.
You shouldn't have done that, David. It only makes things worse.
I'm going to kill you! What's happening?
What kind of a pill was it? What colour? Where are they?
I put them down the sink. It's Bethany, David. It's Bethany.
Mr. Jack P. Shepherd himself.
The
and
thing
Helen
is,
Worth will
after
be live on the show
meeting
Wednesday.
Jack, who plays David,
he's
I
great,
really
yeah.
like him now. Even
Well, I sat next to
clearly.
him at the Soap Awards, in actual fact, because I went along with Sue Cleaver, so I was sort of along with all the Corrie other halves. And he was sat next to me, the poor boy, for the entire 2 hours. And when he was sort of having a little bit of liquor, I said, are you sure about that? But of course, he's like 18, 19 in real life, so of course he's
I know. And Helen
far
Worth's
more
in
responsible.
When did you
Yes,
say?
Wednesday. We've got them live,
Good.
both of them live from the cobbles
brilliant.
to answer your questions. And so much more on Wednesday. The Hindenburg, now you'll enjoy this, 70 years ago, 1937, the year that R. Penny Smith was born. We're commemorating that anniversary, yes, recurring anniversary. I didn't realise the Hindenburg was actually the size of the Titanic, bar the odd metre, so it was a phenomenal engineering feat. Sadly, they should have gone for helium rather than hydrogen. Here you go.
What happened next was only noticed by one witness, one of the Navy ground crew.
Look, what's that?
The back motors of the ship are just holding it, just enough to keep it from...
It's burst into flames. What does that?
Oh, God.
So there you go, conspiracy theories abound, all that sort of business. You'll enjoy that, 2 hours on Channel 4. And I've got to mention it, Kath and Kim, Kim's mother-in-law up on the Gold Coast is a little bit ill, but not as ill as she would hope. Here you go.
What's wrong? Is it Brett's mother? Yeah. She's much better. Turns out there was nothing wrong with her. Well, that's great news. For her, maybe. I knew she was bunging it on. There is hope, though. They've said she's severely psychosomatic.
Oh, I have that. Yeah, I just make sure that I carry a puff around at all times.
She's not alone there. And we have to mention Vince Lee in Silent Witness. Cracking two-parter tonight.
And Hell's Kitchen.
And Hell's
Angus
Kitchen.
Dean
Adele
and
versus
Adele.
Mr. McGuigan. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. All good stuff on the box tonight. Enjoy.
OK, good night to stay in as well. Weather, not great.
Well, it's OK. It's just a little bit chilly.
I keep forgetting you're over
I know,
there.
I'm here. Hello, I'm in the room.
Expecting a sting to come up, and there you are.
And there I am. Oh, and I also have to say hello to Owen, who's 21 months old, and he watches weather every day. So, Owen, this is for you.
Here you are, Mummy.
Oh, thank you, darling.
GMTV Weather, sponsored by Nestle Cereals. Whole grain for the whole family every morning.
Hello. Well, as you can see, we've got a couple of areas of weather, if you like. This first one here, this is a cold front. It moved its way southwards across the country through yesterday and overnight. It dragged down temperatures, so you really will notice it's much cooler today as you step out the front door compared to yesterday. That fine weather that most of us saw, it's sort of gone now. As you can see, we still have a fair amount of showery rain just hanging on to the south coast here. Bits and pieces of cloud as we work our way further north, but this is where the main area of cloud and rain is. It's across northern parts of Scotland, eastern areas of Scotland as well, waking up to rather dull skies and also at times some heavy rain. Bits and pieces of rain around, but I think a lot of places waking up to bright skies this morning. For this afternoon in Scotland, I think it will be an improving picture. You will see some sunshine, maybe some rain remaining across more eastern parts. Temperatures, though, very much on the fresh side, only 10 or 11 degrees across Scotland. Northeastern England, I think you'll see some heavy rain as well. That will affect the temperatures, making it feel a lot fresher. Elsewhere, there you can see, again, bits and pieces of that heavy rain working its way down that northeastern side. The majority of the Midlands fine, dry and bright. Those showers hanging on to the southeastern coast, the southwest remaining bright. I think one or two showers pecking away at westernmost parts of Wales, northwestern areas of England and parts of Northern Ireland as well. And there you can see those temperatures only at 13 or 14 degrees. Now tonight could well be the first night of central heating because we will see temperatures really plummeting overnight, cold enough to see a frost in rural areas. Most places starting off dry and bright. Any rain that we've got overnight in East Anglia will ease away. So a bright start here. Eventually we'll see things starting to cloud over in the north and west, and that will herald the arrival of rather heavy rain across the hills of western Scotland during the course of tomorrow. And then really to sum up the rest of the week, what we will see is an unsettled picture. We'll see another system slicing the country in half. Ahead of it, things will be a touch milder than the conditions we've got behind it. It'll be a showery picture for everyone for the rest of the week. Most people will get wet at some point, and as you can see, temperatures really struggling again, especially compared to the fine weekend that we've just had. Hope you made the most of it. Here's your summary. Find out what's in store for the next 5 days on our website, gm.tv.
Morning everyone. Those doors at Northern Rock due to open in just 1 minute as worried customers they've been queuing overnight to withdraw their savings from the troubled bank.
Up to 10 British tourists are feared to have been killed in a plane crash in Thailand. Was bad weather the cause of this horrific accident?
And a plea from the parents of Madeleine McCann as they step up their publicity campaign. Forget your suspicions and find our daughter. That's today, Monday, the 17th of September, 2007. Hello, lovely to see you. Monday morning, it's GMTV Today, nearly 8 o'clock.
Top story this morning, branches of Northern Rock have opened an hour earlier than usual today, as we were saying, to cope with customer demand.
They've been there for hours, some of them. About £2 billion has been withdrawn since it emerged on Thursday that the firm had applied to the Bank of England for emergency funds.
So let's go and catch up with Richard Gaisford now. He's at one branch for us this morning where queues are already building up there, and people are worried, aren't they, Richard?
They are very worried indeed. The gentleman at the lead part of this queue has been here since 3:15 this morning. As you can see, the manager just coming to open the doors here of the Northern Rock Bank here in Kingston, and it's going to be the same at branches across the country. Here we've got probably about 200 people queuing now, wanting to get in, wanting to get their cash. And on Saturday, they were seeing just 14 people an hour. Now, this bank is open from 8 this morning through till 6, but at that rate, they're still not going to clear the line, and then they're not going to be able to keep their customers happy. And they've got extra security here on the door this morning as well, just to try and control the crowds. And they're going to shut the door in a minute once they've got enough people through. And those people will wait, and they will wait, and they will wait all day. You can see the length of the queue. Now, a little earlier on the programme, Alistair Darling spoke to us, the Chancellor, of course, saying no need to panic, but if you want to get your money out, not a problem.
I said to the Bank of England that they could make money available to the Northern Rock Bank precisely to ensure that if people want to get their money out of that bank, they can do it. But it's also there to ensure that all banks can continue to function properly, and that's how the system operates.
A lot of people desperately worried. Alistair Darling there saying, you know, don't worry, it's not a problem. You're not so convinced, are you?
I'm not, because what commitments have been made by A, the government, B, the Bank of England, to convince people here in the queue that our money is safe. I don't have that 100% security, I'm sorry, but I don't know what's going to happen in a few days' time. And that's why I'm here today, to take the savings that I've had, and of having just retired in June of this year. I'm angry.
Keep your money safe.
Yes.
Keep your money safe. Pam, just very quickly, I mean, you're here to get about £1 million out of the bank,
Something
hopefully.
short of that.
It's a fair-sized chunk. Can you trust anyone these days?
With great difficulty. I certainly am not trusting the banking system at the moment. I think this is has been a huge shock to the system, and I'm putting it in a building society.
Trying to keep it as safe as possible. A lot of people feeling the same way, not all of them, of course, getting such large amounts of money out, Fiona and Andrew, but as you can see, a lot of people here just waiting to get through those doors.
Richard, thank you very much indeed. It'd be interesting to see what the Northern Rock do about actually charging to transfer money, because there's always a percentage and a fee for all that sort of stuff, like a cashier's
I'm more
check.
worried about that woman with £1 million in her purse getting home.
She's the one with the
Grief.
wheelbarrow on the way home.
Yeah. All right, let's catch up with the rest of the news now. Here's Penny.
Thanks very much. Good morning. 2 British holidaymakers are amongst 41 survivors recovering in a hospital in Thailand after the country's worst plane crash in more than a decade. It's thought 90 people were killed, 10 of them from Britain, when the plane came down in bad weather. Marcella Whittingdale has this.
the smouldering wreckage of Flight 269. This amateur footage shows how the plane burst into flames after it crash-landed in heavy rain. Amazingly, some of the 123 passengers survived, scrambling out of the aircraft through thick smoke.
It tumbled, next thing I know, just everything's on fire, and I loosened my strap. Couldn't find my friend, but got out through the exit onto the wing.
The flight, operated by budget airline 1-2Go, had flown to Phuket from the Thai capital Bangkok. Many on board were foreign tourists.
I'm actually inside the hospital that's holding the majority of the survivors. The list of Brits was initially at 5. They've now gone down to 2. They've confirmed 2, both of whom are male and both of whom have suffered fairly superficial injuries, although they're both said to be suffering from shock.
The airport is due to reopen later on today.
If you're worried about friends or relatives, the Foreign Office Emergency Response Team has opened a helpline 0207 008 0000. One person has died and several others have been injured in a fire at a hotel in Blackpool which broke out at about 3:30 this morning. Our correspondent Rachel Harrison is at the scene. Rachel, what more can you tell us?
Well, the hotel was actually facing the sea on the South Promenade. It's just one of the smaller Blackpool hotels that was attached to another hotel called the Waverley. Now, the fire spread through the Manor Hotel and also affected the hotel next door. And just looking at the building, you can see that the top of the building is worse affected. Now, fire crews had to rescue 3 people overnight. One was pronounced dead on arrival at hospital. The other 2 are said to be in hospital but are recovering. And there were a number of reports this morning that a number of residents were unaccounted for. That is now no longer the case. The leisure centre has been opened up nearby where the displaced residents have been taken and are being looked after there. But the big question this morning is just how has this happened? Fire officers are still here damping down and an investigation is underway, but there are already indications that this could have been suspicious.
Rachel, thanks very much. A Portuguese judge is expected to decide this week whether there's enough evidence to press charges against Gerry and Kate McCann. And a top forensic scientist has dismissed reports that sedatives could have been detected in a blood sample or in strands of hair. Jonathan Swain is in Portimão in Portugal. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Penny. We'll expect much more speculation this week. Already the newspapers here this morning in Portimão reporting that the police now want to look into Kate McCann's medical history. But the only thing really we should believe is what comes out of the judge's mouth, the man who sits in this building. He's going to make some kind of decision later on this week, by the end of Thursday, we're told. With me now is Mark Williams-Thomas, a former detective who's been following this case from the start. Mark, do you think we'll see a slightly different emphasis this week, that we should be more sceptical of the kind of claims we're hearing?
Well, I think we're now seeing, and we're very aware, that the information that Portuguese media are printing is clearly coming from sources within the Portuguese police. Why that's happening, I don't know. Are they trying to discredit Gerry and Kate? Are they trying to put the blame onto somebody else? Or is it simply the fact that they're wanting to shift everything away from their inability to deal with this investigation?
And the officers here have admitted over the weekend that Kate and Gerry are the only suspects in this case and not looking at anybody else.
No, very dangerous line of inquiry to eliminate other opportunities. Either Gerry and Kate or family and friends were involved in Madeleine's disappearance, or it was a predatory paedophile from outside the apartment. To close that line of inquiry down so early is a fatal error.
OK, Mark, thanks so much indeed. And Kate and Gerry very keen now for the focus to be firmly back on Madeleine, to remind people out there that their daughter is still missing.
Jonathan, thanks very much. The Liberal Democrat leader is under fire from within his own party as their conference starts in Brighton today. A significant minority of activists said in a poll that they feel Sir Min Campbell is taking the party in the wrong direction. On the website this morning, how a growing number of employers believe workers are taking time off sick because of drink-related problems. Find out about all our dangerous and motoring habits. And a new report reveals that only 4 in 10 Britons would be motivated to do more exercise even if their life depended on it. All that and more on GM.TV. And finally this morning, Helen Mirren added yet another award to her collection, winning the Best Actress award at the Emmys for Prime Suspect. Carla Romano reports.
Huge night in Hollywood, wall-to-wall glamour and huge expectations for the Brits.
The American media have called this year the British invasion of the Emmys. Homegrown nominees include Ricky Gervais for Extras, Dame Helen Mirren for Prime Suspect, Jim Broadbent for Longford, and Hugh Laurie for House. And they didn't do too badly at all, kicking off with Helen Mirren, recognised yet again for her role in Prime Suspect.
So much to say, so little time, but I'm going to keep talking until that very dramatic music comes in. I love that.
Star and creator of Extras, Ricky Gervais, was a no-show when his name was called for Best Actor in a Comedy, leaving his American Office counterpart, Steve Carell, to do the honours. Despite being a pre-show favourite to win Best Actor in a Drama, Hugh Laurie lost out to star of Boston Legal, James Spader. Carla Romano, GMTV News, Los Angeles.
Well, not so bad then, losing out to James Spader. 8 minutes past 8. That's it from... What? Do you like
Yes,
it?
anyway, really.
Oh, I like it. I like
Go
it.
why? Yeah, why not?
Sopranos
It's
won
just
again.
another
I mean,
chance to have a... Yeah,
Right.
another chance to have a look at people's clothes,
what's the matter?
dresses.
I couldn't care. All those there's too many award
many
ceremonies.
what?
They get paid a lot of money for doing what they do. You don't get an award for doing what you do.
No, not just
Not at all
recently.
these days.
No, yeah.
There's Posh in the dress.
There's the green
turtle
turtle
dress.
dress.
There she is. That's the turtle dress.
It is a bit cowabunga,
Posh
isn't
out
it?
and about in New York.
It ends a
There you
bit
go.
quickly. They need to get more patches on there. Anyway. The
Well, we've
baby
got the
blues on
baby
X Factor.
blues,
Now,
yeah.
how about Saturday night? Awesome, isn't it?
We think this is the wrong decision, and I know it's horrible to be given a yes, but I want to be honest with you, I don't feel right about this. And I'm thinking about you and the kid and everything else and you.
So was he right to boot pregnant Katie Booth out of the X Factor? I wonder if she's still seething. We'll find out. She joins us in quarter of an hour.
Right, we'll see what's happening where you are first. See you in a moment.
Thanks, Andrew. Good morning. Here are the main news stories in the northwest. First, a man has died after a blaze ripped through a hotel on the seafront at Blackpool. At its height, more than 60 firefighters were trying to tackle the flames at the Manor Hotel. 61 people were evacuated from nearby hotels and flats. A number of people from the Manor have been treated for smoke inhalation. Police say they're currently treating the fire as suspicious. A mother from Greater Manchester whose teenage son died suddenly while playing football is taking her campaign for health checks for sporting youngsters to the FA. Daniel Young from Atherton was 16 when he collapsed. His mother Dion says a simple heart scan would detect a problem before it's too late. Lee MP Andy Burnham is backing the campaign and will join Dion for a meeting with the Professional Footballers Association tomorrow.
I'm really hoping now that the FA take a lead in actual fact and say to these clubs that they do need to have defibrillators, they do need to have the boys screened. I mean, these defects only kick in when the hormones kick in at 14.
The parents of murdered schoolboy Rhys Jones will return to his primary school today. The 11-year-old was shot dead in Croxteth Park last month. Melanie and Stephen Jones have been touched by the support of pupils and teachers at Broad Square Primary. On the first day of term, they paid tribute to Rhys by holding a minute-long round of applause. Rhys's parents will today open a new adventure playground in their son's memory. On to sport, and boxer Ricky Hatton has met David Beckham as the hitman prepares for a week-long tour to promote his latest title fight. Hatton and Floyd Mayweather go head-to-head on December the 8th in Las Vegas. The hitman has started the tour by visiting the home of LA Galaxy, where he met the former England captain. Our reporter Mike Hall has been given exclusive access with Ricky as he visits 5 cities in 5 days, finishing in Manchester on Friday. The round-the-world Clipper yacht race has finally got underway from Liverpool. 10 boats set sail on the 35,000-mile adventure yesterday afternoon. They'll stop at 14 different ports in 5 continents, the first being La Rochelle in France. The boats will return for the Capital of Culture celebrations next July. Well, that's it for now. I'm back at 10 past 11. In a moment, we'll return to GMTV, but first a look at the region's weather.
Be ready for all changing light conditions. Here's the weather forecast, brought to you by Transitions Lenses.
There'll be large amounts of cloud around this morning with some light showers. This afternoon, the rain will continue with some sunny spells developing in places. Top temperatures today of 14 degrees Celsius.
12 minutes past 8 is the time. It's a Monday morning. Now, we tend to think doctors know best. We grow up with that, really. But new statistics, worryingly, show half of all the children who were taken to their GP with meningitis were sent home on their first visit. This is the start of Meningitis Awareness Week, you see. An 8-year-old Brandon Bowler here might not be here today were it not for the persistence of mum Marinda and dad Darren as well. Dr. Hillary is with us as well. Now, Brandon, you were seen 3 times, weren't you, by doctors? And they didn't get it right, did they? But you're all right now. How long ago did all this happen? Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're okay now. We can see you're okay now. Lots of colour. But Marinda, what happened? What did you see first with Brandon?
Well, he just woke up in the Tuesday morning. I lifted his pyjama top up and there was just a rash on his chest and it just looked like chicken pox.
Yes.
And I thought, well, he's had these before.
Yes.
But they were like underneath the skin.
Yes.
And that's why I just rung the doctors, really.
And they said, come on in.
Yeah.
And then what happened then, Darren?
Well, Marinda said that she'd done the glass test, but she didn't know if she was pressing on hard enough. And it wasn't disappearing. So you took him to the GP, didn't you? Yeah. And then he just says it's a viral infection.
Yes.
Sent us home with paracetamol.
So that was visit number 1.
That was Tuesday.
Yes.
Wednesday, it picked up. It was okay.
Fine.
Okay, yeah. So there's a bit of porpoising, isn't there?
These spots seemed to faded away a bit, but it didn't disappear altogether. And he was playing about. Anyway, later on that night, Marinda went to wake. Yeah. And then just said one thing to me, which, Dad, I've got something on the back of my neck. And I just thought, because my neck hurts me, and that was just once. But if you put that together with, you think, well, that's one of the signs, but we didn't pick up on
And you had enough knowledge to know about him and perhaps about meningitis at that point, or not, that you should go back in? You hadn't even thought
You just don't think it's going to happen to you. Anyway, Thursday morning, he woke up and then Marinda rang me up, says he'd been sick.
Yes.
Yeah. So he went straight back to the same GP again, didn't he?
Told him that he'd been sick again.
And this time, what did they say?
Gastroenteritis.
Okay, so what did they give him? Sort of Nurofen or something?
Yeah.
Ibuprofen, some of it medicine for his stomach upset.
But he was all right in the end. I mean, he was in intensive care. It was all a bit touch and go, wasn't it?
Yeah, later on the Thursday evening.
Yeah.
It was just...
Says it was minutes, really.
Yeah.
When we got him to we demanded to see another GP at a local hospital.
Yeah.
And he just says in 2 or 3 minutes, he just says, I think it's meningitis. That's when we broke down crying. But apparently if he induced him with penicillin there.
No, you got the right help in the end. I mean, Hillary, it's a story that we see so many different times. It shouldn't be down to people who are suffering like this to make their own diagnosis. Shouldn't doctors be doing better, or is this too difficult to see meningitis?
No, absolutely. I mean, doctors do need better training in spotting the early signs of meningitis, which can be very tough to spot in those early stages. It can mimic other things, such as gastroenteritis, such as flu. Many viral illnesses can mimic the first signs of meningitis. I think what's really important here is that although we know we've got 3 vaccines which are very good at protecting against some forms of meningitis, the main form that kills about 300 children every year still, we can't vaccinate against. We haven't got a vaccine against that one. So it's imperative that parents like Darren and Marinda stay vigilant about the early signs and be assertive, trust their instincts. If the doctor says, go away, it's not that and you're worried,
it's very hard to take on a doctor, though. In their environment,
of course it is. I know
they have all the knowledge, they've got all the
that.
training and education.
I know that. In which case, there's a way around it. First of all, say, Doctor, I'm worried this could be meningitis. Why don't you think this is meningitis? Reassure me. How often can you see my child as time goes by? Because I know seconds count and time is of the essence.
Yes.
So, first of all, be aware of the symptoms, be vigilant, be assertive. And doctors need that extra training. And actually, the Meningitis Research Foundation is doing a lot of training with doctors. They've published a CD-ROM, which they're giving to doctors.
And you've got
GPs.
a number there, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if people phone the Meningitis Research Foundation, I think we've got a number. It's 080, there it is, 8800 3344. They will get this pack. And this pack has a little card like that, which tells you what the symptoms of meningitis and septicemia are. You can carry that with you always. But it also gives you more detailed information about what to look for, what the rash means, how to test for the rash using the tumbler test, whether it's there or not, how important is that?
Bright light, bag,
lots of
tumbler
information.
Test, all of that.
And about the vaccinations as well. So
bad time of the year, isn't it, Hillary, at the moment for meningitis?
This is the peak season. The winter is the peak season. So this is when we see most cases of meningitis, not just in children of Brandon's age, mainly babies, mainly toddlers, but also teenagers as they approach young adulthood, but it can affect anybody at any age.
How old are you, Brandon?
11.
11 years old.
7.
Seven years. I was going to say.
Looks 11.
7 years old. Well, we're very glad that you're still with us. Are you feeling well now?
Yeah.
Feeling all right now. And so's Mum, and so's Dad. Thank goodness for that.
Just relieved her.
I am.
It's over.
I know.
She's very nervous
You're not
earlier
that
on.
comfy on the telly. I know how that feels. Know how that feels. Thanks ever so much for coming in. Lots more information about meningitis, how to spot the early signs, etc. on our website, gm.tv. Lots of info on there.
Wow, did you know it's London Fashion Week? You'll be interested in this, won't you?
Thrilling.
Yeah.
So there'll be lots of cars clogging the place up full of leggy models and things like that.
Yes.
That's all right.
You can pop down there later on. Lorraine is live from London Fashion Week on her show, and Boy George is on too.
Has he got his own line going on?
Oh, he's not apparently.
No?
Oh, he can't make it.
He can't make it, he's busy.
I wonder
he's
what's
busy.
happened. Oh, when I came in this morning, I was told Boy George was on.
Oh, that's too bad. Katie Booth's here, though, but
Yes.
she's not like to win the X Factor now. Her hopes have been dashed, I'm afraid. Simon did a U-turn. How dare he? And she's not going through to boot camp because, well, she's pregnant, and she's here after the break.
I wonder what's happened to Boy George.
Don't let spots get in your way. T-Zone, with natural antibacterial ingredients, helps fight the causes of spots. Spots can't handle the T-Zone.
G'day. I hear you need some help painting the flat.
Rolf?
Yeah, have you got any paint and rollers?
No. Wooly, nip down to Woolworths and get some from their new Worth It value range. Paint rollers? Hello? Do you get the paint stuff then? No, look! I got a Spider-Man mask and a web blaster instead!
The new Worth It value range. Hundreds of everyday essentials at ridiculously low prices.
Can you tell what you are yet?
Introducing Tara Naomi and her debut album, Under the Influence. A collection of songs written to make a difference. Includes the single Not Sorry and the eco-anthem Say It's Possible. Tara Naomi, the album, out now.
Indestructible Gel by Studio Line. Our first extreme hold gel formula with elastic resistance. Roughed, crushed, flattened. For style that bounces back. Hand and hood resistant. For style that lasts. Studio Line Indestructible from L'Oréal Paris.
Vitamin D is essential to help you absorb calcium and make your bones stronger.
Are you dreaming of fabulous lingerie that fits real women with real curves? At simplyyours.co.uk, you can be certain of finding exactly what you want in the styles you want with the fit and size you need. Up to back size 50 and cup size J. For pretty, sexy lingerie, go online now.
I'm home.
Or call free on 0800 560 561 for your catalogue. Simplyyours.co.uk.
Did you know the plant sterols in Flora Proactive are proven to help lower cholesterol?
Oh, carrots!
At Cost Cutter, we've been there for your everyday essentials for the past 21 years.
Dog food? Oh, thank you.
Shampoo!
So why not check out our great 21st anniversary offers? Like 2-litre bottles of Pepsi and Tango are now half price. Take a more sustainable approach to your laundry. Use Ariel at 30 degrees for energy savings and Lenore Concentrate for less packaging. Cost Cutter, 21 years of great value offers.
I don't want to get rid of just smells. I also want to get rid of bacteria that's lurking around too. So this new 3-in-1 Oust it's great for that. It gets rid of all the nasty nifs around, and it kills bacteria on the surfaces too.
New Oust 3-in-1. It kills 99.9% of bacteria on hard surfaces and the same on soft surfaces.
And it means I don't have to buy 3 different products, which is a bonus.
Get rid of odours, get rid of bacteria on surfaces. Get new Oust 3-in-1. SC Johnson & Family Company.
All
all is not what it seems at number 8 Coronation Street. GMTV asks the questions and long-suffering mum Gail and psycho son David give us the answers. Will David confess all to GMTV? Find out Wednesday.
23 minutes past 8 this Monday morning. Hope you're well. These are the main headlines that you're waking up to. Within the past few minutes, the doors have opened across the country at branches of the bank Northern Rock, where some customers have been queuing since 3 o'clock in the morning to withdraw their money. The bank's share price has plummeted again by almost a third this time. At least 10 British holidaymakers are feared dead after an airliner crash-landed during a monsoon in Thailand. We'll have a look at today's weather. All parts will have a cool and showery day, so there's been a bit of a change. Most of the rain is in the east. Temperatures will peak at 15 Celsius, but it will feel cooler than that in the wind.
All right, Saturday night is X Factor night, isn't it? And if you watched on Saturday, you'll have seen Simon Cowell shatter another dream, but he also avoided the chance of having the first live birth on the X Factor.
I'm also having my baby. When? It's due in November.
When I look back on these times and the dreams we left behind, I'll be glad 'cause I was blessed to get to have you in my life.
I'm saying this purely on your voice. It's a yes.
Could Katie's dream be over before it's even begun?
One part of me just goes, we shouldn't have done that, because she's 5.5 months pregnant.
I absolutely think this is the wrong decision, and I know it's horrible to be given a yes, but I want to be honest with you, I don't feel right about this.
Okay.
Load of if you ask me. Well, I can't speak for
Oh dear, what a huge disappointment. What a euphoria, and then boom, disappointment, Katie.
Definitely.
Who is 7 months pregnant now and clutching her stomach. What did you think when you saw that then? Did it bring it all back?
Oh God, yeah, definitely. But like I said, at the end of the day, it's for the well-being of me and my child.
You
so.
accepted that now because you didn't at the time, did you?
Oh no, at the time I was furious.
Yeah.
But
I could see your partner Jason was slightly even more madder than that,
yeah,
wasn't he?
but understandably he was defending me, sort of thing. But he's calmed down a lot now. He's realised my points of view as well as theirs as well.
Yeah, and I guess, will you try again next time once the baby's here?
Definitely, I'm going back for a vengeance.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes.
Now, Simon did say about your teeth as well, didn't he? He made
Yeah.
reference to your teeth. So would you get those done before going back?
Yeah, definitely. I've told, like I say, I'm going back with a vengeance next year. Definitely.
And when's the baby due?
November the 12th, hopefully.
And what did you say when you were on there? You actually were so keen to get through, weren't you, that you said you would actually be prepared to...
I said I would actually be prepared to give birth with a screen in front of me while on stage singing in the live final.
Well, there's a ratings winner for you.
Exactly.
I'm not sure you want to put yourself in that position, though, do
No,
you?
not really, but that's how adamant I was that I wanted to go through. So.
But you've lived with the decision now, what, for about 6 weeks now, isn't it, since
Something
that was
like that,
filmed?
yeah.
And how long did it take you to get over it, really?
It was only really a matter of a couple of days, but like I say, at the time, being on such a high, and then Simon coming out and saying something about that, it just brought you so far down and to the gutter, basically. That's how you felt.
Because you do have a lovely voice. And have you sung? I mean, have you sung in clubs or did you just at home in the bath in the shower?
I do a lot of karaoke and things like that, but not.
You've won a few karaoke competitions, haven't you?
A few. I've been singing since the age of about 13.
So really, it is your lifetime's dream.
Oh yeah, it was my granddad's really. He passed away 9 years ago, and it was his dream to see me on the big stage. So.
Oh, so you have to do it for him?
Definitely.
All right, well, we look forward to the next series then, Katie. All the very best with the baby.
Thank
November
you very much.
baby, yeah?
Yes.
Good.
Definitely.
All the best with that. You were a November baby, weren't you?
Yeah, good Scorpio baby, sting in the tail and all that.
That's right.
Yeah, and regards to Jason as well, he got a few
He
X's
got
on the screen, didn't he? Furious, a few beeps
Just
out
a
of
few.
that one. More beeps in that than
He's
in
calmed down a lot now, though.
Oh, OK, good stuff. Yeah,
All
lots
the
of
best.
beeps on Hell's Kitchen as well. That's the final of that tonight. Great TV at the moment.
Oh, bless
yes,
him. He's
Mark
been
Bryan.
brilliant on it.
He's been shed a few tears. Once Jim left, he was a lot better, wasn't he?
Oh, Jim was a pig to him.
Yeah, that was sort of distant memory now, isn't it? Natural History Museum, that's where we are this morning as well. Lorraine is down there. London Fashion Week, talking about showbiz.
And Claire, no, Andrea's here.
Andrea's here with the weather.
Who said Claire's here?
It's
taking a nasty turn.
Yes.
It's going to be a bit more autumnal, so we'll tell you all about that after this.
According to Barclays research, 2 million Brits now own a holiday home abroad.
And guess what? You don't need to be loaded to bag your overseas dream.
But you do need bags of common sense and practical advice.
For instance, if you buy abroad, you'll need to set up a local bank account to pay your taxes and bills.
And if you don't speak the language, it's important your bank does.
Check out Barclays for local bank accounts in Europe,
where your service will be in English.
Dreaming of a home in the sun? It can be easy with Barclays.
What happens when you wash with shower gel? Part of your skin's own precious moisture gets washed away. But Dove Triple Moisturising Body Wash is different because it's loaded with more caring moisturisers than regular shower gels. Everyday moisture is the key to beautiful skin. And who knows moisture better than Dove? Over 500,000 women joined Dove's biggest ever global survey. What did they say? 96% said Dove body wash left their skin feeling soft and supple. Dove, approved by real women.
This is the unmistakable voice of Peter Grant.
Think about your day and night. It's only right. So happy together. I can see
An outstanding album of new and classic songs.
let the good times roll. Let the good times
Peter Grant, Traditional, the new album, out now.
Traditional.
Donne, nuovi Bertolli, nuovi Bertolli!
3 new Bertolli pasta sauces made with natural ingredients.
Don't be fooled, Dove. She looks whiter than white, but she's no angel. What's the charge? Snacking without due care and attention. New Thai sweet chilli splendips. Indecently delicious rice crackers with criminally cool, creamy filly and yummy chilli sauce.
And less than 3% fat. The lowest fat splendips yet. You're free to go now. I'll look after the evidence.
New Thai sweet chilli splendips. Devilishly tasty. Angelically light.
Relieve the pain of wind and colic with Dentinox Infant Colic Drops. Effective and fast.
Trouble with bathroom plug holes? Maybe you just don't love them enough. Bring on Buster. Buster Bathroom Drain Clear dissolves hair and soap, getting bath and shower plug holes back on the move. Give your plug holes some love with Buster Bathroom Drain Clear, because plug holes need love too.
All the Lost Souls is the stunning new album from James Blunt, featuring the hit single 1973. James Blunt, All the Lost Souls, out now.
Brand new from the creators of Wallace and Gromit. It's Shaun the Sheep. Starring for the first time on his very own DVD. Includes 8 brilliant adventures. Shaun the Sheep, Shape Up with Shaun. Out now on DVD.
Deborah Harry performs her latest single live tomorrow on GMTV.
Hello there, good morning to you. On today's show, we are celebrating the best of British fashion. We're live at London Fashion Week with Mark Hayes, who's news on the big names, also who to look out for, and a special look behind the scenes. He's so excited about this. Also, Connie swaps fashion in America and joins me in the studio with her first impressions on the hottest show so far. Gareth Pugh, that show is. There she is. Front row, of course. We'll see you later.
Here you are, Mummy.
Oh, thank you, darling.
GMTV weather, sponsored by Nestle cereals. Whole grain for the whole family every morning.
Hello there, good morning. Now, a bit of a mixed bag weather-wise today. You will notice it's much cooler today than the fine weather and fine temperatures we saw yesterday. You need to wrap up a bit more. We've seen a couple of weather systems affecting us. This first one here, now it moved across us yesterday. It's brought some cold air across us. It's lingering across the southeast. We've also got 1 or 2 showers across the northwest. That includes parts of Northern Ireland. The heaviest of the rain at the moment is across Scotland. What we will see through the course of this afternoon is the rain across Scotland easing off, but it's just going to be sliding its way southwards into parts of northern and eastern England. So a rather wet day for you. Elsewhere, I think people will see improving weather. Things remaining rather cloudy along that south coast, but it's the temperatures you'll really notice through today. At best, 15 degrees, I think. And then overnight tonight, a very cold night. We'll see temperatures dropping back enough to see a touch of frost in places, especially in rural parts. And we'll also see some showers across East Anglia overnight. They'll clear away to allow a lovely bright start to the day. Eventually things starting to cloud over across western parts. We will see rain, some of which could well be heavy at times, pushing into western parts of Scotland, northern parts of Scotland. And again, look at those temperatures, 13, 14, 15 degrees at best. And then looking ahead for the rest of the week, we'll see another system slicing the country in half. Ahead of it, well, temperatures remaining a touch milder. I say a touch, only 16, but behind it cooler and fresher. And then for Thursday, well, the outlook, as I say, is rather unsettled. Difficult to pinpoint exactly what's going to happen weather-wise, but it's a fairly safe bet. So it'll be cool, fresh and wet as well. Andrew.
Okay, well, they call it fall in the United States, and it's coming to us, isn't it, I'm afraid? And fall is what share prices have been doing in Northern Rock this morning. There's been another rush of customers through the doors of that bank. About £2 billion has been withdrawn since Northern Rock applied to the Bank of England for this emergency funding. Richard Gaisford is at a branch in Surrey where customers have been very upset this morning. I see the doors are open now, Richard. Are they getting their money out?
Well, they opened at 8 o'clock on the dot, and so far, what are we, just after 8:30, just 6 people have been served. And when we walk along the queue, you get some idea of the sheer number of people who are here wanting to do just that. They are going to be here for absolutely hours, Andrew. Across the weekend, they were seeing just 14 people, and now hundreds of people queued for 5 or 6 hours on Saturday, still weren't served, and yet they were back here again, some of them as early as 3 o'clock in the morning. Take a look around here. You can see as we walk up the street here in Kingston, just how many people are desperate to get their cash out of the Northern Rock. Of course, all the advice from the authorities, from the company itself, from the Chancellor this morning on our programme is don't worry, don't panic about it. But that's exactly what people are doing, despite the advice of the Chief Executive of Northern Rock, who spoke to us just a few minutes ago.
The reason the Bank of England gave the facility was to ensure that it would be business as normal. All our customers can do exactly the same transactions they normally like to do. Borrowers borrow money, make repayments, depositors can deposit money and take money out. The issue for us at the moment is with depositors wanting to take money out, it's logistical. It's getting the money to them.
Now there has to be a couple of hundred people in the queue now. It just disappears round the corner here. Let's see if we can just pick on somebody here. This gentleman maybe. Sir, why did you feel that you've had an interview? Why were you so desperate to come and get your money out this morning?
Why not?
I mean,
it's my third interview, and I think it's okay.
Do you feel worried for your own money? Do you feel worried for your savings?
No, not particularly. But then, you know, why should they keep it? They're obviously not being very well organised. They're incompetent. So why not put it somewhere else?
I reckon you're going to be here 5 or 6 hours waiting for your money. If you're not that worried, why not just go home and just sit it out?
So I live in Spain. I've flown over from Spain, so
just to do this?
Yeah.
Get your
because if anything really does happen bad when you're living somewhere else, then, you know, the only thing is to come over and sort it out while you're here. You can't get through on the phone, internet, nothing, so...
Well, good luck with it.
Thank you.
Have you got your comfortable shoes on?
Yes.
So, well, we're going to be talking with some more people in the queue here in Lorraine's programme, and also getting some advice for them as the best way of proceeding.
Indeed. Martin Lewis is going to be with Lorraine to give that advice. What's amazing, Fiona, is how few people believe what they're told. We've had the Chancellor and the Chief Executive of the bank this morning saying, don't worry, and people are still queuing up.
I know.
People just don't believe it.
But that's it, and when the trust is gone in anything, in a relationship with your partner, your bank, that it's over, isn't it? It's very hard to get it back, so... Yep, my mortgage is with Northern Rock, so...
You better get queuing.
I could be homeless.
You've got to go. Here's Lorraine.
Bye.